Oh, ejector seat. Welcome to part 4 of the Luthier's Lair series on the GazzBass Falcon Bellissimo Series 2 Franco di Donato signature model. This is going along very well now, and in this episode we're going to be showing some grain filling and how to prepare the body for eventually taking paint and then a clear coat. Also, we're going to be doing a lot of neck work in this episode and lots of experimentation with things. That's going to be awesome, including mother of pearl epoxy fills. What else have we got? Paint choices, the electronics, a bunch of stuff, and also towards the end of this bumper episode I have the HIPSHOT bridge. Yes. And we'll find out if their technical drawings are correct. Okay. So stay tuned. Let's get on with it. Alrighty-cles. While I'm working on the neck, I thought I'd go and work on something else. I'm still waiting on the bridge coming in. I don't want to do too much to the neck, So here's our lovely electronics with a beautiful Audio preamp on the back. Love these guys. I work closely with them and they're amenable to any sort of customization if you're a serious luthier. If you're just some guy, then no, I'm just joking. Right, so what I'm going to do now is just do this, and I'm going to do this just to make sure everything fits. Oh look, oh look, peekaboo, peekaboo. Oh, it ran back in, and then go like that, and that's the big smiley face on the Falcon. Actually looks really good like that. So there's the carve, right? This goes to here. I have reference marks on there. You can't see them, but I know where they are. Right? And you've got this nice smooth, heavy feeling adjustment. I don't know if you know, but if anyone out there ever owns or has owned a Musicman Stingray, turning the volume and the bass in the middle and the treble on a Stingray is an absolute pleasure. It feels really expensive. You're going, oh, that's good, and you hear it going. Well, this is the electronics I've got. It's fantastic. Cheers, whoever that was. And it's just the feel, even with this just held down with my hand, is awesome. And then we've got the jack plug coming out there. That's going to get fitted into here. The battery box right at the back is a very tight fit right there. So everything's coming together fantastically well. And yeah, we will be on to the next. That's all that done. All I've got to do really is, that's the positive and negative for the battery for the preamp, and then what I have is a potentiometer and a switch here for the LEDs. I use a excuse me, a double pole, double throw, single throw switch for the LEDs, because I can put some other upgrades in there later if need be. So that's why I do that. So just oh, it's good. On to the next. Okay guys, sorry about the noise and everything, but a bunch of extractors going right now. But not really for this, because what is this? This is grain filler. Water-based crystal lac grain filler. This is good stuff. Use this all the time. And how do you apply this? Well, this gets messy. This gets kind of messy. You're going to have to tidy up the edges and stuff, but what we do is we fill the pores in the grain of the wood so that we can apply a nice flat finish to it. So how do we do it? Well, as you can see, this stuff's quite viscous, very thick. all we do really is we take on someone to an old credit card or something, and we just plop it on basically. When I spread it, I will be forcing it into the pores. So, you can see there. This goes on clear. It looks like a white paste right now, but it will go on clear. And it sands off edges and stuff pretty easily. So I'm just plopping it on. It takes about 4 hours to dry before I can put on another coat, and I will sand it back before doing so. I'm just getting some on there so I can cover the base. It's a bit more up here. I think we're good with that amount. Give someone the comfort card here. Alright, so we take our card that we get in the mail, those junk plastic cards, they have some use, and we just start spreading it into the wood. It doesn't matter if you leave dollops on there, it really doesn't, because you're going to be sanding it back down anyway. It's easy to sand. And just force that stuff into the grain. That's what we're doing with this. Okay? So this is kind of the boring part for you guys. And that's actually the start of the long process of waiting for stuff to dry. See that getting forced into the pores? See that? That fills the grain for us. So I'm going to go ahead and finish off this first side. Looks lovely, doesn't it? It looks like it's going to be a disaster, but it's not. So I'm going to go ahead and finish this off. Back soon. Okay, the first coat of grain filler has been applied to the top of the base and sanded back down to 320 grit using just a sanding block, and then for the edges here, pencil eraser with 320 grit sandpaper on it. And note how the sandpaper gets a little bit clogged up as you're working with this grain filler. So keep just wiping it off on your towel. There, just you see there, just wiping it off on this towel here that I have laid down. So it keeps the sandpaper dry, clean I should say. And just get into the cutouts and take off all the high spots on the base. 320, and you can see that the grain filler has a chalky appearance when you sand it, and don't worry about that. We're going to be doing a sunburst finish on this base anyway, but we're going to see some grain. But don't worry about it. What we're going to do is we're going to get our mineral spirits, and we're going to clean that off with a rag. So let me just go grab the mineral spirits. I should have had that all set out and prepared. Never mind. So, bottle of mineral spirits here. First off, I'm going to wipe this down just using this t-shirt material rag. It's the best thing to use really for this nice and fine material. Stick that over there, and we'll just give that a wipe down. See, all the chalkiness is going away. See that? And when you feel that, you'll still feel the grain because it's oak. It's going to need about 4 or 5 coats of grain filler. The grain filler doesn't take that long to dry. This took 2 hours to dry, this first coat. So that's good. You can make really good time. And as you can see, it even looks flatter to the eye, and that was just a 320 grit. Now, there's a high spot there. And you see these little white flecks? That's their high spots. So let's just sand that down. So make sure there's no high spots. There we go. Gone. Okay. As you can see, the grain filler is transparent after all. It's just the you know, when you sand it, it becomes chalky. You wipe that down, and then another rag, cleaner one this time, and we're going to put some mineral spirits on the rag, and we'll give the body a wipe, and then we'll put the second coat on, and then it's just repeat this process until we get a really flat surface. There you go. And mineral spirits, as well as cleaning up the surface of the guitar, will show imperfections where you think you've done stuff and you really haven't. So it'll show you what needs filled the most, what is looking good, what's not looking good, because it gives a little bit more contrast. It glosses up the wood a little bit, and then you can see what needs to be done. You just angle the light. Yep. Looking pretty good. That's a good first coat. It's a good foundation to go from. Now from now on, I'm going to be brushing the grade filler on using a couple of brushes here, just normal regular little paint brushes. And I'm just going to go across the grain and paint the grain filler on there, and that's what I'll go do next, and be back soon. Great. Okay guys, so what's up now? What's up? Well, I've had two groats. What? 2 coats of grain filler on the oak here, and it's starting to fill out. It's feeling really good, and I'm only sanding this to 320 grit, and it's getting really flat feeling. The grain's still there though, and you get these little particles in the grain. That's with the tiny little spheres that grain filler is made of. But that's okay, comes out. You just get some mineral spirits, and like I said, you just wipe over, then take this and sort of dry the body up, right? And then you can always take this thing and buff it somewhat, and I do prefer to do that after 2 coats. So how long has that taken? Okay, well, at 5:30 in the AM this morning, in the AM on a Sunday, it's alright, I do it all the time. I put the first coat on, let it dry for 3 hours. Then I sanded that off and it looked quite good. And then I put another coat on, let that dry for 2 hours, and I just sanded that down as well. And I'm really starting to see some great results. Oak, of course, is a very, very porous, very grainy wood. And my usual finish is natural wood and tung oil. But this one's going to be a paint job. I'm going to be painting over the top of the oak, and I always use oak for the Falcon, so I'm not going to change the habit of a lifetime, and I'm making it in oak, and I've got to fill the grain up to a certain point. I'm not going to put too much in here, because when I go to solid white to a translucent lacquer white here, we're going to see this detail. Oh my god, that's so smooth. We always want to see this detail. It's amazing what grain filler does actually. I mean, this is just 320 and it feels like I've sanded natural wood down to about 1,000. It's amazing, it really is. I love the crystal lac stuff. It's very, very good. So I'm going to just buff this quickly, and then I'll show you a little test fit of the neck heel. Okay? Awesome. That's a bit too close. So what was it I promised you? Oh yeah. A slight test fit of the neck. And actually, when I get the heel shaped, I won't need the frickin' bridge that I'm waiting on forever to determine the proper scale length, and I have got it dialed in. I know I have. But I'm just going to show you this fit. You ready? Oh man. That's what I call a fit, alright? When you hear the wood creak, it's like... Neck's going to be very tight. Sound transmission through the join, which is, I think, again, an old wives' tale about sound transmission through an electric bass guitar. Although there probably is some resonances or resonant frequencies, if you know a little bit of physics, that can get picked up by the preamp and the pickups themselves. My lovely little Seymour Duncans that are going to go in here. But I mean this is a, oh my god, I don't know if I should even take any more off of that right now. I'm not going to. It is finished to 320 to about here. Now I've got material to take off there still, as you can see, but that's all part of the actual sculpting of the neck. And of course the tool I do use for sculpting the neck, and I do it all by hand, I don't use any power tools for sculpting the neck, is the Shinto. These are amazing, and like I said in other videos, it's like a lattice work of bandsaw blades, fine on one side, rough on the other, and this goes through maple, rock maple, like butter, and you can sculpt a neck in an afternoon pretty easily, you know, rough sculpt anyway. So that's what I use for doing the necks. This is just, this is fitting like a dream so far. I just wish the parts that I'd ordered, one part would come in so I can verify. Actually, you know what? Let's do this on camera. Let's do it right now, because I'm not scared. I don't get scared at mistakes or anything, because those things kind of happen sometimes. Let's zoom out a bit and let's get a little tape measure out, shall we? Now, remember what I was saying about intonation. Perfect intonation is a myth. Always is. Right, so I've got the nut centre line there, okay? So I'm going to put the 34 mark on my tape measure up at the nut, okay? I know that the bridge that comes in, the intonation is between 0.4 of an inch to 0.67 of an inch either side of the front of the bridge. So that gives me a 0.353 measurement from the front of the bridge to a 34-inch scale, and I've drawn that line in there. So let's see what we get. Excuse me, I'm going to have to get in your way now. Is that okay? Good, I'm glad. And there we go. Now I'm going to show you this first. Okay, let's get in there, shall we? See that? 34. Right there, right in the centre line of the nut. It's going to be a brass nut as well. Awesome. Now we're going to move the camera a bit. Sorry about this. Okay. And we're going to go down to, if I can find out where we are. There you go. And there it is. Right on the 34-inch line. Now this is according to HIPSHOT's own technical drawings and specifications. So if I'm wrong when that bridge comes in, there will be frickin' hell to pay. So, looking good, okay? Awesome. Okay guys, watch this for a little experiment, okay? I put some epoxy resin and crushed mother of pearl into an engraving I did on a piece of wood. This is all in an attempt to put Franco's logo in the first fret. So let's sand this down a bit. It's been curing for 36 hours. I think that's okay in Florida. Let's go. Well, look what's happening there. Look at what is happening. Now when I start sanding that down, right, it's going to appear to shine. Indeed it is. And it's looking really good. I'll probably show you the polished up version. So let me get back to you, and we'll have a look at the nice polished up prototype version of that. And then once I'm satisfied with the process, I can go ahead and I can do that on the first fret, and I might make all the letters different colours. I haven't figured that part out yet though. Actually I have. You know, I'll mask off one bit and do other epoxies. It'll take about 5 or 6 days to do that, but that's okay. That's cool. Well, I have this piece of scrap oak that was stained, and I'm running experiments on epoxy filling laser engraving, and check this out. Look at the way that sparkles. I can't catch the light properly. Here we go. There you go. Look at that. Ooh! Doesn't that look lovely? That's awesome, right? And it saves you cutting out all those small letters in mother of pearl. This is a mother of pearl epoxy resin fill, and I've just sanded it down, wet sanded it down to like 2000 grit. It feels there's no imperfections at all in it, and when it catches the light it sparkles. So this is what's going in the first fret. Not this bit of wood, the engraving, you know. But what I'm going to do is, I love the white, and I like Franco's name in white there, but the signature part I'll maybe make like a, I don't know, a light orange, because it's going to go into an Indian rosewood wenge composite. Yeah, so sorry, you know, I have friends in Scotland and they like to call me at this time of the afternoon. So you can see it looks very nice, and when it's really polished up, the mother of pearl will start to sparkle in the light. So I think that's going to look good. Okay, on to the next, right? Well, people, as we're getting near to the time we're going to be painting the base, I'm running some experiments now on the finish that Franco would like. It occurred to me that, you know, I've never done a pure white to a transparent white sunburst before, so I got this spare piece of oak here, and I roughly filled the grain on it on this side, and this is just raw oak, not filled, not treated, not even sanded. And what I did was I got some 100% acrylic paint and mixed it a ratio of 50-50, 1 part acrylic to 1 part water. Okay, that gives it a very runny texture, and the pores are filled here, so there's probably not going to be any water getting into the pores, but I'll mention that later. And what I found was you get a beautiful whitewash with it, and it's extremely even. I mean, I just roughly put this on, so right, here's the stuff here. It looks like milk. It's thin, right? I applied it roughly with a sponge brush first, and then used a paper towel. You're probably better using a lint-free cloth or rag, like a t-shirt material or something, to blend this in. But this was a quick experiment for feasibility. There's the water there in a coffee jar. And then it was just a case of smearing it on there and then wiping off the excess. And this is just 2 coats, and you can still see the wood through it. This is precisely what Franco wants. Now, of course, the whole body will get whitewashed like this, and then at the edges I'll go over it with a compatible paint. All materials, by the way, have to be compatible. So if I'm using like water-based acrylic for a wash, I'd better be using probably a water-based paint, spray paint, or something that's compatible with that, or I'll get lamination. The paints won't fuse into each other. And then if I use let's say an oil-based polyurethane clear coat, I'll get lamination as well. So everything's going to be water-based that I use. Most of the time it is anyway, unless I stain bases, and when I do stain bases it's all oil-based. So this is turning out great. See, this is before and after. So I've got the whitewash look, and it looks pretty even. I could get it even more even than that, given better wood preparation. This was just a test. The body is almost grain filled. Another day of grain filling and it should be okay. But this has turned out fantastic. I'm really happy with it, and now that gives me confidence to move forward and actually do the burst on it, which will look great. But the centre piece I'm going to leave dark, so that there's a stark contrast there, and I think it'll look absolutely fantastic. So, on to the next.
So, let me zoom in a little bit. I gave that piece of oak there, looks like a whitewash actually, with my secret concoction. And after that, I'm going to put some of this on it. Yes, some water-based clear coat.
Now, why water-based? Well, everything else I'm using is water-based, and I want compatibility between all the things that I'm doing here. So that's why that is water-based. And what have I got it doing right now?
Well, it's sitting in a bowl of hot water. Sons and daughters in hot water. Yes, that's what it's doing, and that's to heat up the urethane in there so that it comes out very fine and doesn't sputter and is not cold and stuff like that. Once it's been sitting in there for 10 to 15 minutes, I will give it a good old shake and I will spray it on. So when I come back, that's what we'll do. Cool.
So here we are, shaking the rattle can. I'm going to put it back in the heat for just another second. I've been shaking that can for about 2 minutes straight, which is important to mix all the constituents together. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to spray and overspray, spray and overspray, and each track I make I'm going to overlap by about 50%. I'm going to hold the can at about like a 60-degree angle, so that I get a sort of fan shape, because it's got a regular nozzle on it, and if I hold it straight down like that, one, I'm going to get sputter, and two, it's going to come out as a circle. I don't want that. I want a nice sort of oval fan shape. You can get spray cans with that sort of nozzle, but this one doesn't. So let's start with the hardest and see how we do. Alright, let's get out of the water. Get a rattle there, and let's see how we go. Okay, that's good. That's one coat. Now, with this wood, I didn't properly prepare it. What I did was, and sorry about the noise, all the extractors are on. What I did was, I put one coat of grain filler on it, and then put the whitewash on it. And I just want to see how the clear coat reacts with that. If I'm getting excessive orange peel, that's probably because I didn't finish the wood properly, but I just want to get an idea of how it's going to look. Yeah, and there's already a lot of orange peel there, but that's going to settle. it will dry out when pit. So I'm going to put maybe wait 10 minutes for this to flash, which means all the solvents evaporating, and then I'm going to do 2 or 3 more coats after that, just to get a picture of what I'm looking at. I can see some of it flashing already, but that's cool. It's looking okay so far. Awesome. Hey folks, so right now we're just getting the grain filler off the surface of the base. This has now had 4 coats, and 4 coats is pretty good for oak. I still have to sand the comfort curve there, the carve. Everything's feeling just like glass, but you might see in the light, I do see in the light, certain scuff marks here. Now, guess what? The control cover will cover that. But is that going to stop me? No. Look, if somebody goes in there to make a repair, they're going to take that off and go, oh my god, look at this shoddy work. I don't want that from my bases. Not going to happen. So, I'm going to work these and work everything, every part of this wood, until it's absolutely the way I want it, until it's completely the way it should be over every surface, no matter whether it's hidden or not. It should be the way of the world. It should be. And you know what? When you're spray painting, mask off the cavities, man. Really? I mean, come on. You're going to, I mean, how hard is it to mask off cavities before you spray or before you paint or oil a base? Look, I know a lot of you guys spray this conductive paint in there. Come on, give me a break. Put some proper copper tape in there that will adhere to the wood for 20 years, okay? That's what you want to do. Just pay attention to details. Look, I know people have deadlines and all that stuff. I have a deadline too. I'm no different. I have 4 projects going on right now. This one is a super project. And this one needs to be perfect, like my other ones. Needs to be that way. So I've still got scuff marks there. It's going to be hidden by the cavity cover, but I want them out. I want them out. I don't want anything screwing with my finish, because it's going to annoy the shit out of me, excuse me for my language, later. So just keep working it, keep going at it until it's as good as you can get it, then go on to the next step. By the way, this aqua coat stuff, this is 6 coats this piece of sandpaper is sanded, and there's hardly any pilling in it. You see that? Isn't that awesome? What a great product. I'm using that from now on. Awesome. Look what just arrived! Oh my god! Somebody from Spain saved my ass. I had contacted HIPSHOT about a headless bass system, and which I've used before, and I found them to be the best in the world, and they said they had none. I was like, what? So I ordered it from a HIPSHOT dealer in Spain, and I'm in South Florida, and this guy came through for me in 1 week. 1 week. So I had the technical drawings for it, and I've kind of unboxed it here, so I'm sorry if I spoiled any surprises, but here we are. Here it is. Yes, well, that way. And here also you have
the headpiece and all the attachments that go with it. The spring system in the HIPSHOT is unbelievably smooth. It's just the best. It rolls on ball bearings there. There's where the string attachment sights are. You adjust the screws to set up the base and plop the bridge on. So, shall we take the box away and throw it away, right? And shall we take this? I got some nice stickers and stuff from the guy too. I'm going to give him 15 billion stars out of 5 for this. He came through for me when HIPSHOT couldn't. So I'm very happy with this guy. I'm going to set this aside. Set this aside. And I'm going to bring in the base, which is now filled with grain filler. Very smooth. And it's amazing because I just filled the base to, I just sanded it back down to 220 to put grain filler in it, and then sanded it back to 320, and it feels like you could skate on it. This is oak, one of the hardest grains to fill. I always make Falcons out of oak. I will never stop making Falcons out of oak, okay? And I will do my best, even if somebody wants it painted. See, I love the natural look of oak. Some guys want it painted. Franco wants it burst from here solid to translucent white. That's what he gets. That's what he gets. He's my esteemed, beautiful friend. And okay, going by the technical drawings in the HIPSHOT website, I recessed this little cavity here. So what happens when I fit this in there? Is it going to fit? I knew I'm going to have to do sort of curved cars in there for the tuning knobs, but I was most concerned about the fit. Watch this. Fits perfectly. It's a perfect fit. When I recess these carves for the knobs to go down, and you get in there to tweak them, it will sit flat, and that will push forward, and it's absolutely bang on. There's about, I would say, 0.02 of an inch each side leeway off centre. So when I do a test fit on this, and I put the neck on it, straighten everything out, and know where to bore the neck holes when I make the neck, it's going to be utterly straight. The string spacing is going to be beautiful. And oh, by the way, yeah, I did show that. It's the headpiece, and all the fittings and adjustment screws. Everything's here. I am a happy guy tonight, and that's why. Look at that. It's real polished chrome. You can just, you can flip it out of its box. You can, you can do that. Just polish it up. Make it look nice for the camera. It's unbelievably well engineered. It's not even heavy as well. It's not that heavy. It's like, what, 7.5 ounces, something like that. Not even that. So it's not going to put too much back bias weight on there. If it does, you know, in the headstock I can slip in a little lead weight or something, you know. But no, it's beautiful. It's absolutely spot on. So my next job is to make, is to make the recesses for the tuning heads knobs to go into. There'll be slots
like I thought I would have to. Down there. Or, you know, I could just route this out and make it straight. But that's crap. I want nice rounded slots for the tuning heads to go through. That's part of the design of the bass, you know. So that's what I'm going to do. So it's going to sit in there. Oh, I'm so happy that looks so good. I'm not joking. Anyway, I'm sorry. I must be boring you. I'm sorry. So grain filled, smooth, ready to paint, all that stuff. Here we go. Here we go. The final phase of this guitar is underway, and it's going to be a long time. See you soon, guys. Take care. Awesome. Well, that's it for part 4, folks. I hope you enjoyed it. Part 5, we're going to be doing probably the LED inlay circuit for the neck. Showing you the drilling of the holes in the fretboard and the routing, and eventually having the neck up to speed, and then we'll shape the neck, get the epoxy mother of pearl into the neck logo and stuff, and all that other great stuff, and then we'll begin on the painting. So till the next time, I hope you can join me next time, but till then, stay safe, be good, and catch you later. Thanks for watching. Cheers. Bye bye.